Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Deidre Pujols. I would like to share with you a recipe called Pastelon, very similar to a lasagna, an Italian lasagna, although this has got a Latin twist to it. I am excited because there's many different pieces of the cookware that you'll use in this one, but the majority of the recipe is simple. There's only just minimal ingredients, and it's something that you can throw in the oven, the whole family can enjoy. So let me share with you guys the ingredients as well as the cookware you'll need. We have the larger saute pan with its own lid, the medium-sized caldero or pot, and the bakeware dish. That's the three things that you'll need for this recipe. Over here we've cut up already a ripe plantain and a starchy plantain. This is a savory dish, so what I've done is this is a very ripe plantain, super yellow, so at this point it will be sweet. So what's going to happen is I've used 5 of these guys, and just so that it's not so sweet, I like to mix in a couple of these guys. This one is starchy flavor, and these are plantains. We're going to need about 2 cups of cheese. I like to mix mine Colby Jack. We have the fresh sazon, and if you go to Pujols Kitchen website, you'll find the recipe for this. It's an excellent ingredient. You should always have it in your fridge. You never know when you might need a quick marinade. I like to use a little bit of garlic salt when I'm cooking up my hamburger meat. In this dish here, we have 1 bouillon cube and some cumin. And then we need tomato paste. That's going to help thicken up the sauce for our meat. And then we have about 1.5 pounds of cooked hamburger meat. So let's go over to the stove and get started. Okay, so I have my medium caldero boiling with water. I want to put all the plantains that we've cut into the water in the safest way possible because I have a tendency to burn myself. We'll just put them in there. Now the plantains that are more green are going to take a little bit longer to cook up. So what I do is just cut them in a little smaller pieces than I do the yellow plantains, and it'll just help them cook evenly with one another. If not, you might have to leave the green plantains in longer, so it's just best to cut them up smaller. I want to add just a little bit of salt to the water. For flavor. So we'll let those guys boil up. So in the large saute pan is where I've already cooked my meat. What I want to do is save that juice that came from the meat, and that's what I want to use. I add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. So I'm going to add my fresh sazon. Again, if you go to pujolskitchen.com, you'll find that recipe there. I have my tomato paste. Turn up your fire just a bit. The bouillon cube and the cumin. Okay, so this you just want to kind of get hot, let the flavors come together. The smell is unreal. So what I like to do is add a little bit of water to this saute pan with the flavorings. Then we're going to add our meat in. So I'll add a little bit of water here. Maybe 1/4 cup. This recipe really can be made a couple different ways. Sometimes I know my Puerto Rican friends will make this pastelon dish, and instead of actually mashing the plantains like we're going to do, they like to thinly slice their plantains. So it literally is like the layering of lasagna would be a pasta. They like to layer their plantains. So it's really a personal preference. I particularly like to mash the plantains up and then spread them out that way. So now we'll add our cooked hamburger meat to this dish. And when I cooked the hamburger meat, I added just a tiny bit of garlic salt. My mom taught me that a long time ago, so I still always do it to my meat. I'm going to add a little bit more water. And while our plantains are boiling, we'll let this kind of sit on a low fire. Let the flavors come together. And we'll take it back over to the counter and we'll finish our pastelon before we throw it in the oven. All right, let's go ahead and drain our plantains, and I'll show you. We're gonna mash them up, put some butter in it, and then we're gonna start layering our dish. I put a half a stick of butter in here. It just helps it stay creamy and more flavorful. So all we have to do now is mash up our plantains. You only need about 10 to 15 minutes to boil them because the yellow plantains are already pretty soft, so a lot of this dishes require muscles. When we made the arepa, had to stir, worked my arms out. I like a little texture in this mix, so you don't have to worry about it getting it super smooth. And that's about the texture that we need this plantain mash to be. And we can work straight out of the cookware to do our layering. And we'll take your bakeware dish and we'll just start with layering some meat. Spreading it all over the bottom. This meat mixture is almost just the same as one that you can use for an empanada. And I'm famous around here for my empanadas. My husband and my kids are crazy about them, so I have learned to make this meat well. So now we just take a layer of our plantain mash. We'll kind of put it here, spread her out. Take a smaller spoon, and this is fairly easy to work with, so we're just going to start spreading it. Real easy here. You know, it doesn't have to be beautiful. Just gotta taste good, right? So tiny bit for the corner. Now we want to take some cheese and just cover the plantain like so. And we'll go back to our meat. Spread that back around. And it's really nice, the taste of the sweet plantains with the meat, that sweet and salty kind of thing going on. We'll take the last part of our plantain mash. that way. And we'll just spread this out. This will be our last layer of plantain before we add the last bit of cheese. And that looks about good. Now let's put the last bit of our cheese on. Nice and spread out. We've layered up our pastelon. Now all we have to do, everything's cooked, but we just got to get the cheese nice and golden. We're going to throw it in the oven at about 350 for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And we'll take her out and serve up a piece and show you what it looks like. Yeah. So our pastelon's finished. The last couple minutes I put it on broil just to get the cheese nice and brown. So we're going to take it out and delight and vast in the deliciousness. All right, so we have our pastelon. Now, the best part about all of it is going to be to eat it. So I'll cut us a slice to show you what it should look like. That's what I say, this dish, easy to feed the family. It's savory, it's sweet, you got your cheese. And what do you know, just by being able to purchase the cookware, not only do you get good food, but you get to help people around the world. What is better than that? So there we go. This is your pastelon, melting cheese everywhere, and the beef, and the sweet plantains. It's gonna light your palate right up. Enjoy, thanks for joining me.